and then
All right, disclaimer. Unscripted Entertainment and the Unscripted Podcast would like to clarify that we do not endorse or promote any negative commentary against Delta Airlines. Our platform is intended to provide our guests with an opportunity to voice their opinions regarding the unionization of Delta Airlines employees. We are not legally responsible for any opinions expressed by our guests, nor do we represent any unions or any other organization affiliated with Delta Airlines. Any views expressed on our platform are those of the individual speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views of Unscripted Entertainment or the Unscripted Podcast. Yes, sir.
yes. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Unscripted Podcast, All Talk. We had some technical difficulties earlier, so we had to restart it. But we have some amazing gentlemen on right now. Um, Gamali, if I said your name wrong again,
I'm not getting any
Definitely
audio.
murdered it again.
did I say it wrong again, my brother? Can you hear us? Can you hear us?
Oh, on Facebook, it's just not showing up on Instagram.
I think my brother can't hear us on this one. So I'm gonna go to McGee. McGee, can you hear us?
Yeah, live in effect. Flex McGee in the building. Delta workers. We here on representing the ramp, fleet service department, getting your bags to and from where they're supposed to be, push your planes in and out safely. And here we are just to talk about unionizing at Delta. So I'm excited to be here, and hopefully I can give you guys a bunch of good information. And like I said, thank you for having us.
No doubt. Darian, how are you doing? Where are you calling in? You said Detroit, correct?
Yes, sir. Darian Thomas, Delta Ramp Agent. Zone 3 is where I'm at. I'm calling out of Detroit City, and I'm pretty much calling, for us to get unionized, for Delta to be unionized, not only for just the pilots, but also for us as well. So that's why I'm here. I'm representing IAM, a union company. So just glad to be here, and let's get it.
No doubt, no doubt. So the question I had asked you before, guys, is
Still no Instagram, right?
that how how did everything kind of start? You know what I mean? Like what was like kind of the thing that said, you know what, we need to start a union because this is what's going on, this is what's going on. We don't know what else is going on. We got our brother just joining in. Um,
Should be done now.
yeah, so what made you guys say, okay, we need to do this? Because some of you guys are in Atlanta, some of you guys are in Detroit. So this is, I don't know if they have other places around the United States. Like, I mean, not I'm saying outside of the United States, like in other countries. So it's like, Delta in Puerto Rico or Delta in Dominican Republic, or Delta in Mexico. Are they all on board with what you guys are doing in the States as well? I'm gonna go to you, McGee.
Okay, so to answer that question, Delta flies everywhere. That doesn't necessarily mean that they are in with us.
Okay.
So in the United States and Puerto Rico, um, we are who are trying to organize. Like a lot of what happens is in a lot of countries, in order for you to fly into their country, they have specific rules that you have to abide by their particular country,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes sense. So we don't have to actually get like the people that are in, Thailand and South Africa or any of those, but we do have to get the United States and U.S. I believe U.S. territories. Actually, I think the only one that we have really is Puerto Rico
Okay.
outside of the states. I might be wrong on that, but I know Puerto Rico is one of them.
Okay. And so with that being said, right, what was the key thing to say, okay, guys, across the United States and everything else, we're gonna take this step because obviously something had to happen to be like, all right, you know what, because everybody could say this job is good, but then this is not happening. Our safety conditions, it's like, give us kind of like the whole spiel.
Okay, so the number one thing that we are organizing for, to be honest with you, is respect and fairness in the workplace.
Mm.
Like Like that's what our biggest issue is. It's the us putting out the number one customer service in the industry, them winning JD Power Awards, and our compensation isn't doesn't match the efforts that we put out.
Mm.
Another big reason is safety at work, quality of life at work. All of this stuff has suffered for years, and they try to make it seem like sometimes that we are just a loud minority, but really what we are is an unorganized majority that's trying to
Mm.
organize.
Mm.
Like it's so much not having a say in the workplace is people like you don't always understand how important that is until you really don't have it. You don't
Yeah.
understand like when you can go to management with issues and you don't feel like they're properly being addressed. Or, no matter what happens at work, it's always the employee's fault. It can't be a big circle of what could you do different. Like I followed all policies and procedures and I got hurt, or I got followed all policies and procedure and the plane went out late.
Wow.
You don't have a person that necessary or organization or a team. You, you don't have that system in place to help you uh, get your say across. We don't have a platform to really address our issues,
Okay.
and that has really become a big issue, especially with the legacy Delta people going out the door who remember Delta when it was, just say different.
Yeah.
I feel like they probably always needed a union, in my opinion. But there was systems in place where people felt like they got exactly everything that other airlines got. Now the only thing they really match is they're going to match pay. The industry is going to dictate how much pay is.
Mm.
But when it comes to vacation and sick time and cost of insurance and like safety procedures and what we call scope language, the scope language is really the rules in which you work under. Like having due process,
Yeah.
just like simple stuff that like we take for granted. You know what I'm saying? When you're unionized, you don't think about it. Every airline doesn't. Every unionized airlines have that stuff. Non-unionized airlines don't. So
Now,
that's how we got here today on your platform.
is it the conditions in those two airports, or is it the conditions in your work environment across, like, nationally? Like, uh, the JFK and LaGuardia workers are dealing with the same thing that you guys are dealing with in Hartsfield, Jackson, in Atlanta.
Like, I don't want to hog all the screen time, but yeah, to be honest with you, every city is going to have specific things that are they have issues with, but system wide, the stuff that I'm speaking about, all of us are suffering with that system wide.
Gotcha.
So no matter where you work at, if you could work in Detroit, you having these issues. Like in Atlanta, we having these issues. L.A., the New York City area, Florida, Texas, Minneapolis, Salt Lake City, Seattle. It don't matter where you go. The stuff that we are fighting for is an actual say with the company. Things that we are across the board are not being compensated for our services properly,
So
in
the
our opinion.
higher ups are just pacifying you. Whatever complaints or grievances you have, they're just like, shh, do your job.
Mm.
They don't care. They're like, you want to keep your job? Then keep quiet. Do your job.
Darian, I'm gonna pass it to you. I'm gonna pass it to you.
That's actually true. I can't disagree with it anymore. And also, what my man said was definitely true. It's like when you try to voice your opinion about something or anything like that, or correct, it's like to me, and I'm not speaking bad on the company, but it's like they don't have any self accountability when they're wrong. They find a reason to blame you, no matter what, and they never apologize. And also, another thing that bothers me about it is that all while I've been there, I barely get a good job. I barely get some kind of appreciation of me being there.
Mm.
Most of the time, it's every time I'm getting there, it's always, and I'm not just speaking for myself, but I'm speaking on people who are afraid to speak up about it. And you get managers that instead of them trying to find solutions, they want to complain to you about it. They want to sit here and conflate the issues, and they want to sit up here and trying to find a way to write you up. And it's just like, instead of us trying to write somebody up for something like that's not even in the rule book, how about we try to find a solution? And it's like, over my time of me being there, I don't watch managers do it so many times. Nick pick against fellow employees, writing them up for petty stuff,
Mm.
just trying to fire him for no reason. And it's like, the ramp, like I said once before, the ramp in the airport is the most important operation because the ramp is responsibility for everything. We control how much load is on that plane. A lot of people don't know that. If there's not enough bags on that plane, we have to go get sandbags. We got to go get certain type of
Wow.
certain type of freight, to add on the balance of that plane so it'll be balanced. But people don't know that. So a lot of people
just learned
don't
something.
know that.
Yo, y'all pulling us on a lot of information that people probably don't even know because I know you guys work hard and y'all out in the field. My uncle actually used to, but he used to direct the planes. He wasn't really like
Air
doing
traffic
the
control.
air traffic control. So he was out there like on the field with y'all, but just directing the planes where they gotta go and where they gotta like dock at and everything like that. But you guys are definitely putting a lot of information that people don't know what you guys are going through, and hopefully your voice is definitely heard today, man, for sure.
Like from a consumer's perspective, there was a situation I was in, and they had to ground my plane because of icing. So I'm halfway up the eastern seaboard, and your team, I would say, managed the situation of getting our luggage from plane A to plane B so efficiently that the layover was less than an hour and a half, which to me is just like it was such a miracle. And you guys are put in situations like that where it's like, yo, we got to move everything from this plane because whatever fuel issues or timing issues or whatever it may be, and that's where you should get that good job. Like, wow, we did this efficiently, in a timely manner, got our passengers back in the air, and then as a consumer, it's like, wow, I appreciate the airline, but you don't even get the appreciation for that effort to make that happen. You could just be like, yo, I got my list.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna say one other thing, not to cut you off. A lot of time I be on LinkedIn because I connect with different businesses and stuff like that, and I create my aviation profile on there. Every time I go on LinkedIn, for the most part, I barely, and I mean very rarely, see anything regarding rap. I see things about National Flight Attendant Day, National Pilot Day. I even saw something about gate agents or something like that. I rarely, and I mean rarely, like you can go on there now. I kid you not. You barely find anything regarding the ramp, appreciation of the ramp. Only thing you're gonna find is the fact that we're hiring because the turnover rate over the past years has been extremely high because of the conditions.
So how long do like employees usually last doing the type of jobs you guys do, since like the turnover rate is so crazy?
I'm gonna give it to Gamali on that one because I felt like the gentleman.
Yeah, 100%,
Yeah,
absolutely,
yeah,
of
yeah.
course.
So Gamali, were you able to hear that? Please forgive me if I'm chopping your name up, man. I'm so
Yeah,
sorry.
Gomley, yeah, you butchered it. Cool.
Yo, hold on, Gamali, real
don't
quick.
worry, man. Fuck this guy, Sam, bro. He's
Sam, why
bugging.
don't you tell our audience your real name, Sam?
So my first name
Word.
is Ifani Chuku. So I go by my middle name, which is Samuel. So everybody knows me as Sam. So Gamali, you know what I mean? I'm just trying to what background?
He's
is that?
Nigerian. He's not African American. He is straight African.
Yeah, my folks are Ghanaian, so you're right next door.
Oh, okay,
But,
dope.
I don't know the numbers on the turnover, but like Darian said, that there is turnover, and I think a lot of that turnover is self-inflicted because when you look at the entry pay for a ramp agent, it's not leading the industry. I mean, when you look at the other peers, so when you have that and you have subpar medical and then short staffing, leads to a more likely case of injuries and stuff. People will leave because they're like, I don't want to do this for, $16 an hour, and
$16
when they can
an hour. That's
literally go across the ramp to one of our competitors where it's a little higher, and they got more protections. Like with the union, kind of like what Flex said, it's not just about the pay to me the biggest thing is the respect
Mhm.
because like Darian and Flex said, it's like we're an afterthought. We're not even acknowledged, and I think years ago, um, because Delta, don't get me wrong, Delta's a great brand,
It's probably one of the
and
oldest
that's
existing
why,
airlines currently.
yeah, it's one of the legacy brands, and it's a great brand. But when you tell somebody you work for Delta, it's like, oh wow, you work for Delta. But like the dirty secret is, um, the the total compensation is not where you would think it would be for a Fortune 500 company, a multi-billion-dollar company, and when you start comparing it with our competitors, it doesn't measure up. And
That's so.
Delta, they like to put out the propaganda and play with the numbers and half truths and facts. And my thing is, if we really got the total best compensation, there's no need to play all these games.
Yeah.
It would just be epic. But you got to play these games when things ain't where they should be.
So let me ask you a question, right? How is it? Because you guys also mentioned that the airlines, well, not the airlines, the pilots are, I guess, making better leeway per se than you guys on the ramp. Um, are you guys part of the same union, or is it going to be a different union with the pilots? Is it going to be, and if it is going to be the same union, are the pilots speaking up for you guys? Are they saying, hey, because what you just relayed to us is information that I had no idea about with making sure that the weight, because God forbid you on the plane,
Yeah, bro.
yo, listen,
It's top heavy
I,
or something
yo,
Hey!
like
I
that.
did not know it goes
Father,
so.
I did not want to see you so soon. You know what I mean?
Yo, I did
You know
not
what
know
I
it was that
mean?
real, for real.
So it's crazy. Any one of you guys can answer that.
Okay, I'll jump
I'll
back
jump
in.
in.
Well,
Oh, if nobody else wants to, I'll jump in and answer that. The pilots, we will not be in the same union as the pilots. The pilots, Alpha only represents pilots. We will be with the International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers, who pretty much dictate the pay in the entire industry because they are with American, United, Southwest, Alaskan, Hawaiian. Like they do contracts all throughout the industry.
Okay.
And that is who we've chosen to help us negotiate the best contract the industry's ever seen for the best workers that the industry's ever seen. Another thing to answer your question, for the first time ever, we had a rally a couple of weeks ago. Actually, I take that back. There's a coalition going on. So everybody's trying to organize at Delta Airlines right now. You have us with the machinists, you have the flight attendants with the AFA, the flight attendants union, and then you also have the mechanics with the Teamsters. And they had a rally out in front of Atlanta Airport a couple weeks ago. And for the first time ever, the pilots stood with us. They supported us. They're actually on our side, saying, "Hey, yeah, you guys need to unionize." So that was a big plus for us, and that's a big help to our push in our campaign to have pilots. Like pilots in the airline industry, pilots are seen to be like top of the food chain. Like they are going to get theirs.
Yeah.
And if they're unionized, I, more than likely everybody underneath them should probably follow their lead and you organize as well. But Delta has this way they have a culture that they've built and they've put this culture on us to where it's like we have and their answer to everything is we have a direct relationship with our employees and we feel like we can get things done faster that way. But yet and still, we still don't have the safety or the quality of safety at work that we feel like we should have. We don't get our benefit package, in many of our opinions, has been kind of rated to where they keep stripping stuff away. They change things arbitrarily anytime they want to, and these are the things we're fighting to be able to have contract language behind, scope
Yeah.
language, be able to say, hey, no, you can't contractually, you can't do that.
Yeah.
So that's our big fight with that right now, and that's what's going on with the pilots and how that whole situation works.
Um. So now, I think that's like, it's a little weird, not in a bad way. I just say it's like in a way because you would think, okay, if it was one union, it would allow things to kind of progress a little smoothly. Now, do you know if one union is communicating with the other union to kind of just meet at a forefront? Have you guys like spoken with any politicians like a Bernie Sanders or what's the other one?
Yes.
AOC.
Ron DeSantis or
Yeah,
whatever.
no, well, not
Flo-
DeSantis. That's he, he's
That's
not.
Florida.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
him. Not him. Yeah, he no offense against him, but he ain't.
We're gonna need
Come
another
on, B.
disclaimer now.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm sorry. I never
Y'all
said that.
fucking up, man. God damn it.
Nah, but like a Bernie Sanders, what's the woman from the Bronx, AOC, and Elizabeth Warren. I know she's for um, unions as well. Have you guys spoken to like any of these? Do you know if your union has reached out to any of these politicians or key members that might be able to move the needle a little bit in your favor?
The answer to that is yes. Bernie Sanders, we've actually had meetings with Bernie Sanders in the past. He has supported us with this. I believe Elizabeth Warren has too. AOC definitely has, even though we had a rally in New York and she couldn't make it, and that's fine. But she still supported us. Um, we have definitely had used our connections in politics to help further. As a matter of fact, to give you a quick story, the first time I ever spoke on a stage, it was with Senator or the late Senator Lewis, and this
Oh
that was it
wow.
was 10, 12 years ago,
Wow.
or probably 13 or so. But the first time I ever had a real speaking in front of a group of people, like I spoke on the same stage as him.
Nah, that's dope.
So we do have support, and I can speak in Atlanta. The local labor council, everybody in Atlanta is behind us in labor. Now I can't speak for every other city, but in Atlanta I can speak for it because every time I go to the office, I see it. Everybody's behind us. Anything they can do to help, they're willing to do.
So let me ask you a question. Like, so what seems to be the holdup per se? Because, you know, I know a lot of people fear unions, and in reality, from the time after, and this is just me being the historian that I am, after World War II, that's when America kind of had its greatest shared wealth, I should say. Whereas, with the whole baby boomer situation, you could go get a good job, because you were in the union, you were gonna be protected. It was just a fair playing ground. You know what I'm saying? So my question is now is like, what's the standoff? Who is not budging? Who is really holding things up? Who is saying, okay, yeah, we're gonna get there. Yeah, we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. And if they don't get there, are you guys gonna be like, all right, we're going to strike? You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not, again, disclaimer, I'm not like wishing this for anybody traveling with Delta, but at the end of the day, that's what the union is supposed to, in my opinion, supposed to do. Like, all right, if you're not helping me get to what I want or what I need, then what's the point? And if you're not hearing to our demands, then it has to be some kind of repercussion, in my opinion. Am I wrong? Am I, I don't know.
Absolutely. I understand what you're saying, but let me help you understand where we are. We are in the forming a union process, so
Okay.
there is no strikes.
Okay.
Like we are so far away from a strike that that's not even something that we can think about or would think about at this point in time. It's not nobody wants to strike. You know what I'm saying? So we are literally at the forming a union, and the thing that now what stops us from doing anything you want in life? It's fear,
Yeah.
misinformation, lack of resources to maybe educate yourself on what unions do. We
Mm-hmm.
have so many employees who, like, when I talk about the union at the job, and this bugs me, it bugs me out. I hate when I'm talking about the union and somebody comes up next to me and starts whispering to join the conversation. What are you whispering for? Like you talk about something that, like I be upset about. Don't come whispering next to me because you don't want somebody. But I understand that people are scared to lose their jobs for talking about unionizing. But I be so tight when
Yeah.
somebody come up to me whispering because I'm not about to whisper with you. We gonna have these conversations like adults.
Yeah.
So like that's really the biggest thing is fear, miseducation. Like the currently, like the stuff that the company puts out, in my opinion, I just feel like the information you put out is interference because it's always slanted. No good information. How you say we want our employees to have the facts, but there's never a positive fact on the table.
Mm.
That's interference. And this is what we fight against every day.
So what
Now,
could
if I
play as
leave my
like
information, go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
what could play as like a catalyst to onboard more of your colleagues, um, to get you gain some momentum? Is it, you know, educating them? Is it, getting more flyers? Is it like a private networking group to communicate with each other, outside of work, to because like you said, fear is what's holding people up. So it's like, Sam, I don't want to talk about this. The managers here, they get, I'm not trying to get suspended, trying to get my hours cut. I got a kid to feed. You know what I'm saying? But now me and Sam are talking outside of work, and now I'm like, all right, yo, I understand what you're trying to pitch to me. I'm with you, but I got to be careful how I move because because that fear's there.
If I could
It's all
say
of that.
one thing,
Go ahead.
oh my
Go
bad,
ahead,
bro.
brother. I've been talking. Go ahead and talk, please.
If I could say one thing from what I was told, not only by the union that's here in where I'm at in Detroit, at workplace we can talk about it. We just can't talk about. We just can't talk about it in the workstation. So like if I'm in the break room or something like that, and we're just sitting at the break table talking, they can't hold us responsible or anything like that because that's our break area. But if I'm at like the computer station trying to get people union cards and stuff like that, then they definitely could say something or potentially possibly for us to lose our job. Like I can't go to the airplane bin while we're sitting here loading freight, mailing customer luggage, handing out union cards and stuff like that. But if we like all at the bus stop and we rally and we talking and everything like that, then we're not at a workstation of Delta. So technically, it's pretty much like all hands are, everything is pretty much almost, I want to say, open.
So you can't
Um,
interfere during work time, even if it, like, say you were off the clock and you came in to try to, promote. You're disturbing work time. But if you're on break time or like clocked out, congregated, that all bets are off there.
Let me jump in
correct,
just
but
to
we
make a
can't
correction
come
on
in. Go
that, because I think they might have told you wrong, brother. You can speak about the union anywhere they speaking about any other conversations. The same way they talk about football and how the Knicks we got to get rid of Randall and all of the same way we talk about all of that stuff. You can talk about. Yeah, I said it. I said it.
That's a
Randall, you
fact.
killing
Nah,
me.
you're right. You
But
speaking facts. They do got to get rid of his bum ass.
no, but you can still have conversation. Now, what you can't do is hand people information or ask them to sign a union card in certain work areas. Like if they sit down in the computer room or something like that and they're doing work, you can't solicit for the union there. But y'all can have a conversation anywhere. You can have any other conversation. You can talk about the union. It's like, wait a minute, we can talk about sports, but we can't talk about the union. That's not how it works. And it might have been explained to you something like that, but the fact is, you can talk about the union anywhere, anytime. It's just you can't get caught handing out stuff, or you just shouldn't follow the rules. But you
So
can have a conversation anywhere.
let me ask you a
And
question.
to answer your question earlier too, just so you know, it's hard to get people away from the airport to even speak about the union because your work life problems, they really only a problem when you at work.
Mm,
Once I leave here, I got real life problems going
mm-hmm.
on. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of changing that, and I get it, but like to me, it's all like woven into one issue. You know what I'm saying? Even though they're separate, it's like I can speak. I need to make time to fix my work life the same way I need to make time to fix my relationship with my girl.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
Gotcha.
saying? Or my relationship with Chase Bank. Like I need to go give them people some of this money. Like I get it.
Yeah.
You know what
so
I'm saying?
let me ask you a question. So how far? I mean, because thinking about everything right now, like you two gentlemen are in Atlanta. The next gentleman is in Detroit. Um,
We froze.
no, no, they're good. They're good. They're good.
Oh
They're
no,
good.
because the
They're
clock
good.
had stopped.
It's just
I'm
no.
sorry.
It's just that. Yeah, it happens. But the question is now. No, we're good. We're good. I
I know.
promise.
I'm
I
just
promise.
making
We're
fun
good.
of myself. Go ahead.
The
Go ahead.
question is now. How is it as far as recruiting people? Is it a full number? Is it only you know 20 in Atlanta, 10 in New York, or is it no? We got everybody in Atlanta. We got everybody in New York. We got everybody over here. Like, how is that?
Man, it's tough. Which is why we need to take outlets and platforms like your podcast to make sure we get our message not only to our coworkers but to the community. because we need the community to start pressuring some of the people at work, saying, "Man, we didn't know y'all was going through this."
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, people have to be moved to action because fear will completely freeze people. So
Yeah.
once you get scared, like a lot of people, what they do is they just don't do nothing,
Mhm.
and we end up in the same place. Now in Atlanta, we have a lot of activists because we are a larger station. So I mean, and they do in New York as well. But the reality of it is, we don't have enough. Because if we had enough, we already be talking about doing elections and stuff like that. People
Mm.
wouldn't still be whispering in the shadows, and you trying to go to the bathroom and they want to talk in the bathroom. Like, that's like, it's the fear of this thing that stops us from having the numbers that we really need to push through.
So let me ask you another question, because I know in the beginning of the podcast, I'm gonna just call you Mr. Lee because I feel like I'm chopping your name up. So I'm gonna just call you Mr. Lee. I'm gonna just call you Mr.
Gee,
Lee. I know you had mentioned that it was only 16 an hour. Is that unilaterally across the United States?
Nah, it's
Like,
probably different states if I'm not mistaken. Because am I bugging or?
no.
no, yeah, some markets have because it's like a higher price market, so they may start a little more. But I know here in Georgia it's 16.55, and that's with the recent we got a 5% raise in April.
Oh,
So,
So
so, so maybe we could understand a little bit better. What's your minimum wage in that state?
oh wow, it's yeah,
I,
it's low.
I, I think
I don't know off the top
I
of my
think it's
head, but
7.75, right?
I want to say like 10, isn't like $10 or maybe seven.
Okay, because here
I
in New
don't think it's
York, our
$10.
minimum wage is actually
15.
15 now. So now
Yeah,
marginally, like it could compare a little more. We could like understand the
yeah.
difference.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But
but
let
Being
me
up
let me
here in
tell you
Detroit,
what I know. Like, I know California has a state law to where in California they make more at the start. The thing that happens is you don't get raises as fast until you catch up into their pay scale.
Mm.
So like, you would get a raise, I think, after 6 months or a year. I forgot how. I've been out here 23 years, man. And I started union with Northwest, so I've been topped out since '05. So I'm
Wow.
not necessarily the best at this, but I do know, like, when you do go to a place where you start out at a higher pay, you don't get raises. You're gonna be stuck at that higher pay for a few years.
Yeah.
wow.
Like, I know they had people who were coming in and going to Minneapolis, I believe, recently, and they were starting them out around $18, but you don't get no raises until you catch back up with the pay scale. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
Wow.
And that's probably what happens in our demographic, I'm assuming.
New York's probably the same way. I'm not sure, but I mean, it could be possibly the same thing. But if it's only $15 an hour in New York, which I know, it's probably not, because they pay more than that.
No, our minimum wage. So like we said, your minimum
That's
wage
what
is
I'm
10.
saying.
So I'm thinking our ramp workers probably start around like 19 or 20,
Yeah,
some
they're
22
around that
maybe.
range if I'm not
And I'm just
mistaken.
guessing. Like I wouldn't know. You know?
Right. I don't know either, but I'm just saying, because our pay, well, their starting pay, because that's not me, their starting pay is higher than the minimum wage. They might not. They might not. I know our starting pay. I know in the state of California, I know for a fact is different. It's a whole different pay scale how it works out in California. They
Mm.
got different laws though.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Mr. Lee, what are your personal grievances? Because you have mentioned a few, um, and I just want to get each individual's experience, because we're three different gentlemen on here. We both are entertained. All three of us are entertainers and everything else. But Winnie's perspective might be different from what he's experienced with one party. Mike's same situation might be a different perspective. So I just want to get your individual perspectives on, like, okay, this is what you're facing. This is what you're dealing with. This is, et cetera, et cetera.
To me, respect is the biggest thing, because if you don't have respect, um, you know you're starting off on the wrong foot. And we're the most profitable airline. We hit all the metrics in our industry. We're top in all the metrics. But when it comes to our total compensation, the way we're treated, there's room for improvement. There's a lot of room for improvement, and a lot of my coworkers feel that way. I know a lot of them are scared. They don't want to lose their job, but um, I'm not a person who's like easily intimidated, and it's just it bothers me so much because there's a lot of good people on the ramp, system wide. A lot of good. I mean, best employees. I met people from all walks of life. Like you said, at one time they had to download a play and they did it in an hour. We do stuff like that every day, and for the company to not respect that and what we're offered is it's a slap in the face.
Mm.
So to me, it's respect.
Okay, so Flex, what about you? Because you said you had met like the late, you know, Mr. Lewis. So you've been on this journey for a while, if that's the case. Like I thought this was new, like something that So how long has this been going on? Like to you guys are just trying to get this union going with Delta.
So to give you a little history, Delta Airlines and Northwest Airlines got together and started like merger back in 2008, 2009, somewhere in there. We voted for this in 2010.
Wow.
So when we voted in 2010, we had a unionized Northwest Airlines, which is where I came from, and you had a non-unionized, bigger
Oh,
Delta Airlines.
okay.
And yeah, like we lost. Like Delta people to like they didn't want to punch in. Didn't nobody care about retirement. Like when you got to look at where people are in life when we start talking about what it is that's important to them. Everybody wants money. The older workers want more like better health care when they retire. They want better pension numbers. They want all of this stuff. And then younger people. When I was in '08, man, I was a young boy. Like I was 30 something years old. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So this has been going on since we lost in 2010. This is like the third startup of us trying to organize.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying? So like this is not it's a new battle to maybe the people who like are new to this
Okay.
or to the community. But like to those of us who lost, like man, I lost so much when I lost my contract, man. I couldn't see nothing else but to do but fight. Like we didn't have no other choice. But it's been a long process to get to this point to where a lot of people, like I said, I feel like we are the unorganized majority.
Yeah.
A lot of people feel like I feel, but they haven't been moved to action yet. And
Okay.
that's the part that's really difficult in any community, or any campaign, moving people to action, saying I want to be involved. Like I got to do more than just, ask you for like what's going on. And that's really been the hard part in this. You know what I'm saying? So if anybody out here watching this, I don't even if you don't work for if you know somebody at Delta Airlines on the ramp, I don't care where they work. Just make sure that they know that the ramp is organizing, the flight attendants are organizing, the mechanics are organizing, and it's important for us to come together and really like get what we deserve. The reason why we make record break people say record not people. In this industry, record profits are unpaid wages. It's a
Mm.
reason why we make so much more as an airline than every other airline because every other airline is unionized. And here we are. All we look at is how much we make per hour.
Mm.
Wow. Okay.
That's upsetting. Um, Darian, I'm gonna let you speak, my brother. Like, what is your experience have been? Because I know you had mentioned with the insurance, like some doctors not being able to take insurance. You know, guys kind of afraid to speak up about certain things. Like on your side, have you been able to recruit more people to be like, okay, I'm trying to do this union because, Flex, just getting a perspective of what you were saying, right? Just coming from where you were in a union, you're getting the benefits, you're getting the Greek treatment, you're able to go to your rep and be like, hey, I don't like the way Tommy was speaking to me. Take care of that.
Facts.
You know what I mean? Like, so now you lose that kind of thing, and then it's a little harsh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I just want to get your perspective, Darian.
My whole perspective is with the recruitment process. I have been talking to people, on and off the clock about it. I think the biggest issue for them, a lot of those people, they so spoiled with their flight benefits and all that they don't want to lose their job. Some of them don't really realize or know the purpose a union actually serves. I was able to get a few people up here. I have a bunch of different union. I have a bunch of union cards,
Okay.
so I do plan on still keeping on making that strong push for us to get one because I think it's a big need for us to have one. For many reasons, for financial reasons, for health care, pension. I believe we deserve to be taken care of. That's just plain and simple. Like I don't doubt the pilots. I don't knock anybody in the company who's getting theirs. They getting it, cool. But it's just, you know, we just need to be taken care of because our job, people don't understand. Our job is the most dangerous job in the airport. You can lose your life.
Has it reached?
People don't even realize that.
Yeah, has it reached the political side in Detroit? I know like everywhere else is different, but just wasn't for sure if you went political and people like in the government, they support you guys and so on.
So far as in that, because I'm very kind of like, I just now start talking to the lady here with the union. I would have to get more information. I'm gonna say no. I haven't heard anything big, as far as in like with the government. This young lady Tiffany, who's with the union, the union people. That was the only lady I talked to. So I'm probably gonna say no. It may have been, something big going on, but I just started now finding out about the union up here and stuff like that.
Quick question. Is there any platform where support, exterior support, can go to, like a website or email address? Like, we're with you 100% as consumers or politicians or a celebrity or an athlete, whomever it may be, to support your cause.
Yes. We have a website for the IAM. It's IAMDelta.net. And on that website, it gives all the information with the campaign. And like Flex said, the IAM is working with AFA. AFA is organizing the flight attendants. IAM is organizing our work group, which is a cargo ramp and tower. And then we have Teamsters organizing the machinists. But if people go to that website, there's actually a petition up there that went up there today. So the public, what they can do is sign that petition because one of Delta's major shareholders actually introduced a collective bargaining policy, a non-interference policy, which is Proposal 6. That's going to be at their shareholders meeting this month on the 15th. So what the public can do is go to that website, IAMDelta.net, and sign that petition so that Delta can know that they need to respect their employees' legal rights to organize, free from interference, free from intimidation. People don't need to feel like they're going to lose their job because they're exercising their legal rights.
How many signatures do you guys need so it could be passed on?
Many as possible. We need the whole United States, because Delta is a global company.
Yeah,
global
100%,
company.
yeah.
We're all over the world, so we need everybody in the States and everybody all over the world to sign it, because that's what's gonna make them move. When they see that their customer, when the customer base understands that there's a section, there's a work group, the people that are out in the rain, that are out in the snow, out in the heat, like Darian said, make sure your bags get on there, and making sure your flight is safely loaded as far as weight and balance. Those people are getting neglected, and like Flex and Darian said, we can lose our life any day out there. There's a lot of machinery, aircraft moving, and so
just the
job.
fumes alone as well as too,
that.
working around that as well.
But,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But just because it's a dangerous job and it may not be the most glamorous job, we still deserve respect, just like the other work groups.
No, actually, I was looking online about a couple of things. in terms of your industry, your field, and saying how it is very physical in terms of, you're dealing with the elements. Like, you're out there no matter what. You don't, in some of the demographics, you actually don't get a pay increase for doing overnights. Where most jobs, when you work past, whatever, we'll say 10 o'clock, 10 p.m., you actually get graveyard shift pay. You're getting some extra. You're not getting holiday pay. You're not getting extra in any of those circumstances. It's like every shift is the same no matter what. And you're out there basically, like you said, risking your life because you can't hear. All of a sudden you get ran over by a plane or sucked into an engine. You guys got to worry about fueling the planes. Like, I feel for you guys.
God forbid. God forbid.
Yeah, God forbid.
Up here in Detroit, just like 2 months ago, we had an incident where somebody almost actually, it didn't make public, but we had an incident where somebody almost actually got sucked by a plane.
Damn. Wow.
Because part of the plane, part of the beacon, the aircraft have a beacon light. When that beacon light is on, you don't go near the plane. However, this particular beacon light did not work.
Oh.
So what happened was this individual got ready to pick up the chalks, helping me out, pick up the chalks, go chalk the plane. However, I seen, you can see that you can hear the engine, you can see the engine, and you can see the back of it on how much pressure is pulling out from behind.
Yeah, facts.
So I instantly dropped my wands and ran over to grab that person because that person thought the plane may have been off. Now, mind you, this person is new. This person only been here for probably like a month. So they don't even
they don't have that
know
savvy
too much,
Yeah.
Exactly. So we actually, speaking upon that, we actually almost had an incident like that where that person could have actually lost their life.
Wow.
That's insane, man. Yeah, nah, it's different, man. It's definitely different. Definitely a dangerous job. 100%. Like, it's no joke.
That's a big fact. So you mentioned, Mr. Lee, about the towers. I didn't, like, you said something about the towers. I didn't think the tower workers dealt with, I thought, like, there was, like,
Everything was separate, or everything was just
like
one union?
One person, like a one tower command, deal with all planes.
Oh,
Right?
usually
Am I
like that, right?
wrong? Is that how it goes? Like, is it
They're-
one?
They're not with us on the ramp, but as far as this organizing effort is going, they're included with us. So we have ramp, cargo, and tower that would fall under the IAM's organizing effort.
Wow.
Okay, so break this down for me because my overall understanding was there's a tower and I thought it was just like a government thing.
He's thinking air traffic control was just one department, not air traffic control to
For
each
Delta,
airline.
That's what I thought.
I'll answer that. I'll answer that when you get the check. Okay, so check it out. Now, he's not. When we say tower workers, we're not talking about air traffic control.
Okay.
That's a completely separate entity from what's going on.
Yeah, exactly.
When we say tower workers, we have people who work in the towers who have specific jobs to give orders or commands. Like the reason, like what's going on with the plane, it's going to be plotted at this gate. Tower workers who have, hey, the bags are coming off. These people are going to grab these bags. These people are going to grab these bags.
Okay.
So how the National Mediation Board is what governs our election process, our unionizing process, and under the Railroad Labor Act. So they've already classified the people who work with the plane. If you do stuff with the plane, they are, which is ramp and tower and cargo, that they be there. We are all fleet service. And then the people who work with customers, which is like reservations, or the ticket counter, baggage claim, like all of those people, they are, or in the gates, all of those people are passenger service agents.
Okay.
So that's how it's kind of split up. That's why we have people who work in the tower that work with us because they have communications with the plane and the stuff that's going on with the plane. So anything that's working with what we call the metal, they're going to be in our classification.
Okay.
Anybody that's working with the people is going to be above wing and in the passenger service classification.
Okay. All right.
I think my dad did tower work. He used to have to. He told me he used to have to worry about the meals and stuff like that when they actually fed people on the planes instead of peanuts. And making sure, like, all right, this is our manifest. There were so many people on this, and he worked for Eastern Airlines, which like disappeared with Pan Am like back in the '80s and stuff like
Shout
that.
out to Eastern.
Oh,
That's crazy. All right.
No, yeah, shout out to Eastern Airlines, man. They took a big sacrifice for the whole airline industry back in the day. People don't always know that, and they blame the union for taking Eastern Airlines down, but really it was Frank Lorenzo who was banned from working with any airline after that. But
really?
that's like that he probably would have been a tower worker that was like a part of us because he works with the metal. Well, I don't know. It depends on exactly what he did in his job, but if he was in the tower, he could have been a part of us.
Yeah, I was a baby at the time, so now after this whole show, I'm calling pops up. You know, I'm more intrigued now.
Nah,
Yeah, ask your pops about Frank Lorenzo.
All
He'll
right.
tell you a story about him.
that's crazy. Gentlemen, so there's roughly 10 minutes left. Um, if you, I don't know, I know you gave us the website, iamdelta.net. For people that want to sign up and support you guys, is there, besides the website, is there a social media for you guys, whether it's Twitter, whether it's, TikTok, whether it's Instagram, Facebook? You guys want to just relay that information so that everybody can have and kind of go and show their support?
We
Yeah, I think
definitely
if
have
you
an
go to that
Instagram page.
same website,
Instagram.
uh,
Yeah, go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
no, I was
Go
gonna
ahead.
say if you go to that same website, the iamdelta.net, there's links for like the Twitter handle, Instagram, and all the other social media platforms as well.
Okay. Um, I would want you guys to, because we live in the laziest generation now. So just put it out there. Just put the social media handles out there. Because, people are like, oh, I got to go to the website and then I got to click this and then I got to do that. And I don't want to do nothing. How it
Oh, you
is.
want to scan the QR code?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, like, just
Yes.
if you guys know it offhand, just say it while we're here, like, live and everything else.
And I also just what I
Follow.
did, I just copied and pasted the website and I put it in the group chat that we in just so you guys can see it and everything like that. But that website, it has pretty much everything as I'm looking on it, our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that jazz.
Thank you.
No doubt.
hmm
To get that quick IG page, the IG page is IAM_Delta United.
Okay.
IAM_Delta United. And you can follow our movements on there. We got testimonials. We got funny work memes, stuff that you can relate to. We got the best way to keep up with, well, one of the best ways to keep up with our campaign is to please, check that IG page out, share it. I'm telling you, man, you'll get to know our story much better, man. It's a lot more intimate than just, the website by itself.
So I know I'm being redundant, um, but I want to make sure that everybody fully understands the full scope of it. So you guys are getting closer to unionizing, right? But the first step is to kind of sign up for that petition to stop that block with their, I guess, the main key trader
Yes.
individual, right? And then from there, the talks should be able to commence and everything else and so forth. Um, we really do hope that, everything works out in you guys' favor and that, you guys get the pay that you're looking for, the security, the ability just to work in a safe environment, safe space, because, there's, life, like you said, is stressful. And to go to work and be in a stressful environment while you're dealing with, technically billions of people, because, it's not like the same person is flying the plane back and forth. You know what I mean? Like it's hundreds of millions of different people left and right that are coming on the plane, all ethnic groups, all, racial backgrounds, etc., religious backgrounds. So, I don't think people understand the severity of having happy people work. You know what I mean? Like, because it's like
have good employee morale.
yeah, it's like Spirit. Not to like talk trash about Spirit, but
Yeah.
people know. I don't take Spirit.
Frontier.
You know what I mean? I don't do it. That no offense to Spirit, you know, but it's
You'll never leave on time.
you know, you know what I mean. You got a reputation, you know. Like they say, your reputation precedes you. So you know, you want to make sure that, yeah, of course, each employee is doing what they're supposed to do, obviously, but at the same time, it has to be a good working environment. It has to be not necessarily fun, but at least happy, healthy,
Safe, man.
Yeah, safe, most
Safety
important, man.
is number one, man. I
Yeah.
think that's the most important thing because I used to be in the union and I already know how it goes. Like sometimes, they just don't care. You're just like a number to them a lot of the times, and unfortunately, it's just what it is. They just know how to keep you at bay, and that's it. But at the end of the day, it's good that you guys are speaking up and having your voice, and that's what matters at the end of the day. And hopefully, I pray that all this spreads across and everybody all over the world can hear your voices and understand what's going on, man. Because everybody deserves, the life that, they work a good job, man. Like, you're in the union, they got to take care of you at the end of the day, man. That's all that matters,
Big fact.
Now, I remember you talking about being understaffed and stuff like that. And it's like good benefits aid in employee retention and also attraction to employees. So it's like that would solve one of the problems in the work environment if you guys have what you needed, what you deserve, not what you need, what you deserve.
Big facts. Big facts.
Yeah. If we have what we
Yo,
deserve,
if I can, real
have
quick,
everything we
if I
deserve, it'd be 100. We probably wouldn't even be having this conversation if we had like a union. We probably wouldn't even need a union if we were being taken care of by the company, being well taken care of. But it's a reason why, we're voicing this because it's really getting out of hand. And like, Flex and my man who's been here for a minute, I'm going on 5.5 years. And, coming from a company that was union, coming to a company not union, I can tell you that there is definitely a big, huge difference.
Let me ask you guys one question before you go. How is the employee retention rate? Because everybody like Mr. Lee said in the beginning. He said if you could go work for another company that's paying maybe $2 or $3 more, and they have better working environments. What's the incentive to stay with Delta? So that me just thinking what's the retention rate? If you're going 1 minute somebody's here, next minute somebody's gone, I just think it's not even cost effective because then now you have to train. You gotta, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of these big companies they forget that. So what is the retention rate? Flex, I'm gonna go to you with this one.
I'm like Amelie. I necessarily don't know the numbers, but what I can tell you is Delta is hiring every day. Like we have new hire classes in Atlanta rolling through. It seems like daily. So you're right with everything that you say that we should be able to get these people and retain them. But bro, the first day it's 38 degrees and raining outside, and you making $16 an hour, and you already don't kind of like it, and it's dirty, and it's you humping 38 degrees and raining is the worst thing you could work in.
Facts.
And windy. Because there's nothing like having soggy Pampers at work, bro. It's terrible.
My socks get wet, it's over.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And you can only change so many times because you can put on new socks, but eventually them soles gonna be wet.
Yeah. That's a fact.
So that's like I said, like Gamali said, it's the respect, man. You gotta be able to get we need that respect.
Yeah.
More than anything. Once we unionize, then we got the respect. We can come to the table and say this ain't acceptable no more.
Yeah.
We don't have that. We don't have the numbers to do that yet.
Got it. All right, gentlemen. We thank you for joining us. I'm gonna just pass it over to the men. It's the GQ win.
Yes,
God,
yes.
please give them your Instagrizz name.
Hey,
You already know, man. 3 underscores GQ win at 3 underscores, man, for Instagram. That's my social media handle.
Miss you, brother.
Yeah, man. It's
So,
been a minute.
I actually took a good 3-month hiatus from the podcast, so I'm back. DJ MVP1. I also followed the movement already on social media. Support you guys 100%, and
Definitely.
hopefully some change happens. I'm praying for you guys.
Definitely.
Thank you. Hey,
Um,
we got 1 second. I just want to say one thing.
yeah, go ahead.
Hey, I just want to let y'all know on, I believe it's June 15th, the shareholders actually have a big vote coming up for us. It's going to say whether or not Delta can stop, I don't want to, it's like an interference type of thing that they're voting
Yeah.
on, or their anti-union campaign. That's really what it is. Listen, many of people, our ancestors, forefathers, whatever, died for the right for us to organize at our workplace free of interference. That's what this vote is about. If you see this, if you know a shareholder, if you are a shareholder, please vote yes on that. We don't need anti-union tactics. We don't need to spend all of that money on anti-union. You can spend that on making our quality of life at work better. You can spend that on doing right better by your employees. We don't need you to spend money on misinformation and what, in my opinion, I feel is interference. We are here for protecting our jobs and gaining our respect and finally being compensated for what we deserve. And I appreciate you guys for allowing us on the podcast to spread our message and say our part, man. I'm dead serious when I tell you it's all love for that, man. Thank you. Thank you so much from all of us at Delta Airlines.
No,
Absolutely,
we
man.
thank you,
Love
man.
is love, man.
Definitely. I learned a lot.
Yeah, I learned a lot today too. I ain't know it was that deep,
I
but
learned
damn,
a
that's
lot,
that's different, man, for real.
Yeah.
We appreciate the knowledge that you told us today, and obviously our viewers are definitely gonna know what's going on at with y'all and Delta,
Definitely. Like Mike said before, we do wish you success, that everything goes in you guys' favor, and so forth. So, all the people that have tuned in, I'm sorry about the Instagram for just, everything never works 100% when you're trying to fight the good fight, so, but we got you on other platforms, which is important, like the people tuning in on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. I saw like 5 people on Twitter. I'm like,
Facts.
what? Yeah, so obviously this was a message that, is being spread, that needed to be heard, and, we're grateful for you guys taking the time out to, inform everybody what your grievances are, why you guys are unionizing, what are the key steps that is making everything, and that, obviously everybody watching can tell that you guys are hardworking, you're good people. It's nothing malice, but, behind your intentions. So, we don't want to take that for granted in any way, shape, or form. So, with that being said, all our guests, please remember, you are loved, you are appreciated, you are valued. You can do whatever you set your mind to as long as you believe it, you can achieve it. This is the Unscripted Podcast. Gentlemen, all
Talk.
talk.
Y'all know
We
the
are
vibes, man.
completely outta
Peace
here.
out, y'all.